What's up, everyone? This is Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a great Monday. I told you I'd drop a video talking about the potential pattern and what it's going to look like kind of the rest of January. Maybe not so much the rest of January, but definitely the next 10 to 14 days. We're already pretty much in mid-January, so we're entering, climate-wise, one of the most coldest times of the year for the lower 48 for most people. I'm not saying January is the snowiest month of the year, because for some people February is, and for some people March is, or more so December or November. So, but we're going to break down some things, what I'm thinking, and dive deep into this. Before we get going, if you haven't subscribed, much appreciated if y'all do. Very active on Twitter, very active on Facebook, very, very active on Twitter. And I talk weather here in the East Coast, Southeast, South Carolina, just really and talk any big events. So much appreciated for the support, guys. Y'all have been really awesome. So that's definitely appreciated. So let's dive deep into this. We're going to talk about just a regular old operational European model real quick, and try to get an idea of what we're looking at. Where is some areas that we can really hone in on, some storm systems that can really talk about. So we're getting here in time. If we don't know where we're at Wednesday, so we're here in a couple days. We're getting through. Looks like we're going to have a dry work week. But if you look right here, you're getting a cold front, a really huge dip in the jet stream. Big old trough digging right here. It's almost like a clipper kind of system. But widespread snow is breaking out in the upper Midwest. But as we get into the weekend, there's going to be a chance here for some kind of low pressure to really develop along the jet stream dip here. And what's going to happen is it's going to have a chance to strengthen and really maybe potentially produce a big-time storm system for the Northeast and even for the Southeast here. Really could bring some wet weather and really some strong northwest flow snow for the mountains potentially this weekend. This weekend might actually be a good weekend to check out snow again for a second or third weekend in a row. So might be another good weekend for it. But of course, you guys in the deep South, Louisiana, Mississippi, parts of Alabama, Texas, just got a big-time treat with this winter storm. Good for you guys here in Georgia, South Carolina. We are still just really winter weatherless unless you're in the high peaks in the North Georgia area and things like that. But as this system gets through, this has a chance to really dump some snow for Tennessee, Kentucky. As cold air kind of moves through, it kicks off some snow showers, flurries. I think really Saturday might be a day where there's widespread flurries. And I think when we get later in the weekend, it's not showing it here, but I think some flurries are going to have a chance to escape containment outside the mountains, even here in North Carolina. We're going to watch this. We're going to have to get into short-range modeling for that. But you can tell where that 32-degree line is. Definitely some cold air coming in over the weekend. It's a big-time cold front, not the coldest air of the winter by any means. And that's the thing, we've been trying to talk about this polar vortex dropping in some big-time cold air, but I can tell you in the short and mid-range, I don't see that. But I do see a lot of storm systems, and I still see the negative NA showing up from now till mid-range. NAO is what I meant, negative NAO. Still really showing up. So that's still going to keep the active southern jet here, pumping out some storm systems. The thing is we need a steady supply of cold air, and I'll be honest, I don't really see that much yet. But I still see multiple storm chances coming up. And here we go. We're getting a little bit later in time. This is going to be another storm system. This is the other one for next week, and the GFS and the European is different as far as timing and different as far as look. It's pretty far out, over 200 plus hours out. But this is a good look. You got a southern feed here, low pressure forming in a really favorable track, and it's working its way here. Notice you don't see any winter weather breaking out, but it's close. You can look at the 32-degree line, and you can tell the cold air is close by. And if you look right there, you have to look really hard on y'all screens, but that's some pink and blue. Really close to an overrunning event right here. And I think this pattern, as we get to about the mid-range, I think it's going to favor an overrunning event, maybe a Miller B, which is a cold air damming pretty much. And then this system moves on out. And what you see at the end of the Euro, when you see blue like this and snow breaking out along a cold front, a dip, you know this is about to be a big-time cold front about to drop. But it's 240 hours out. It doesn't really matter that far out. It really doesn't, guys. But you look at snowfall according to the European operational run all the way through. It's not very impressive even for areas in the northeast, the southeast, really nothing outside the mountains. All these grays, dark grays you see is basically from the system that just moved through. So it's not really current going into the future, but there's nothing in the mid-Atlantic, just nothing. But let me tell you guys, that this pattern to me, not everybody believes this, but to me, this is kind of one of them patterns where we're kind of entering a period where a storm system can pop up in the mid-range out of nowhere and enter into the short range. I really think that we could all of a sudden have a threat 100 to 120 hours out, which isn't too far out, and it kind of gets concrete as we get closer. So that's kind of a pattern I'm watching. As we're moving here, this is the GFS operational run, the latest one from this 18Z. And here it is. This is that big trough digging. You can look at the blue lines. You can tell this is a big old area of cold air. Nothing crazy cold, but this is a big time trough dig right here. And basically you get low pressure trying to develop, and you get moisture riding around the boundary. And it really, I don't know yet, but this may be another decent mountain snow event. Several inches of snow, especially for the higher elevations this weekend. We're going to watch this, but this could be our next weather maker in the southeast in general. Maybe not so much in Mississippi to Louisiana points west, but really anybody else in the southeast. This is a low pressure developing along the cold front. But check out what it does. It pops that low pressure off here and really turns into a really strong system, and it plows it right into Cape Cod, into Boston. You got cold air feeding behind it, and you got snow on the northern side, so this becomes a big-time snowstorm for the interior northeast, but really just a soaking rain for areas in Boston, New York City, areas that really have not seen snow at this point in really almost a month. Not since that big nor'easter that hit in about mid-December. So you guys have not really seen much at all in the 995 corridor in the big cities. But we're going to watch this. This has a chance to trend better, but we'll see what happens here. But that gets on out of here. And here comes that other system. There's another system that tries to throw some energy here, right here. And you can tell some flurries, some light snow breaking out. This is for next Monday. Something has a chance. There's some energy right here, but it's not together. It's not working in tandem here to figure itself out. But it throws some snow showers in the mountains. But again, it's not a big system. And here comes the one that the European was showing. This is the same system that the European was showing midway next week. But it completely suppresses it and shears it out. And then it gets going, pops it back out. Another trough is digging out here. But we're just in a whole lot of warm air here. This is rain for everybody in the southeast, including going into the northeast, and another system that pops up here. So just not interesting, but we get really deep in time, into the time frame that really doesn't matter. And you get a nice low pressure that gives the mid-Atlantic a nice snowstorm. But this is far out. This is 336 hours out. This is 2 weeks from now. So it really does not matter. But it really keeps, if we look right here, if we look, let's see if we can get this rolling here a little bit deeper into time. One thing I'm interested in is into about the mid-range, you have consistent blocking. This is the negative NAO, still a west biased setting up here. You're still going to get active southern storm tracks. You have them locked in here from the digging. You get a cold air blast. This is for this weekend, but it sets right back up again in mid-range. Some nice blocking. So the patterns is there. We just need a supply of cold air, and it's just not something we're, I'm just not seeing a ton of cold air or anything like that. But this is the Icon model, one that I don't show a whole lot, but I'm showing it again. It's just showing that deep trough dig. And there's going to be a system this weekend that I think is going to give some areas some snow that maybe don't see a lot of. But I don't see anybody here in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, really outside the higher elevations. But it'll be an interesting storm for the Northeast. It'll be a big-time weather maker for the Northeast Saturday and Sunday. And I really think we're going to get a decent mountain snow event off this system. But as far as temperatures, guys, and this is the operational GFS, we're getting into this week. It'll be a chilly week, but nothing below average. If anything, it's maybe a tick above average temperature-wise. But here comes that big trough dig associated with that system. We end up having a very chilly weekend, highs in the 40s this weekend. Big time freeze. Temps begin to moderate, as it always does, as high pressure shifts away. And after that, you know, it's just January weather. And really, we're not even seeing a lot of below freezing temps. And it's basically, you're getting a ridge that tries to throw itself in there, and then you get another cool down. But really, I think what's going to happen is there's a potential for a ridge to set up, a southeast ridge. But I don't think it's going to flex that hard on us, meaning I don't think it's going to be that strong. I don't think it's going to give us a ton of above average temperatures, but I think it's going to set the stage for another Arctic air mass to really work through. It's showing on the Euro a little bit, and it's starting to show on the GFS, and I do think we're going to get a big time Arctic air mass maybe late in January. That's just my thinking. Some of the way some things are setting up here is making me think that, but outside of that, guys, let's see. The Climate Prediction Center. Here we go. I meant to have this up for you guys. I normally like to have all my tabs up when I break down my videos for you guys, but a lot of you guys don't know where this is, and that's okay. But all this is available on the internet. This is from the National Weather Service. It's the Climate Center. So basically, if y'all can see that pretty clearly on your screen, this is the 6 to 10 day outlook. So it's calling for about average temperatures with about average precipitation. So that's just nothing to really write home about. But we get the 8 to 14 day range, and now it's calling for a little bit above average temperatures and maybe a little bit higher chance of moisture. So, you know, there's just not a whole lot to really see. And I'll be honest, there's not a whole lot to talk about in this video in general as far as a threat for winter weather on the East Coast, a major threat. We just got done with one, but I think two main systems to watch is obviously the one this weekend, and then there's going to be another one next week. But keep in mind, like I've said, a threat could pop up at any time in this pattern. We're dealing with a marginal cold air across the board. Even in the deep south, they got lucky. They had just enough cold air mixed in with some moisture, and they got a big time snow, but really the temperatures were very marginal. Dallas, for example, you guys got completely screwed, and only because there just wasn't enough moisture to work into your area. If you got enough moisture to ride north, y'all would have got several inches of snow, but just stayed, y'all didn't get anything, I heard, and that's really unfortunate for you guys. But 30 miles south, you got a few inches. So, but that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll keep in touch with this all week, but I do think we're going to be something a little bit more to talk about here. We're getting into the week. It's the dead of winter, so something can pop up out of nowhere. But that's all I got. Y'all guys have a great night. Thank y'all for tuning in.